Hey everyone, it's iTalkApple, and today I'm reviewing Great Photo Pro. It's obviously a photo editing app, and it's available in the Mac App Store for $9.99. So we're going to open up some pictures here, and I'm going to show you how the app works, what I like about it, and of course what I don't like about it. So this is what it looks like, obviously. You can click through all of the images that are in the folder that you opened, and you can see basic information like the shutter speed and the camera type. At the top here, this is where all of the editing options and features are. On the side, you have options for opening more images and exporting, and then on the bottom, they're mostly just viewing options. So before I start the review, I want to say that this app has a lot of features. There are a bunch of apps on the Mac App Store already that are devoted to some of these individual features, like HDR, or Effect, which is actually a bunch of filters, or Big Aperture, which has to do with depth of field effects and like a tilt shift type thing. And then Color Splash is for coloring in just specific parts of your image to draw attention to them. And then, of course, there's a whole collage section, and there's apps dedicated just to making collages in the App Store. So if you don't want to buy a bunch of separate apps for these features, then it's probably a good idea to try out Great Photo Pro. It's affordable, there's a lot of features, and all of the features are implemented fairly well. It's definitely not the best photo editing app that I've ever used, but it's decent and it does what it's advertised to do, so that's good. I'm not going to go through all the features because that would take forever, but I'll go through a few of them. Fine Edit, I just wanted to show you what options you have here. There's tone adjustment, so that means exposure, highlights and shadows, black point adjustment. You can do lens adjustment, so there's lens correction options. Color adjustment, so like the white balance. These are adjustments that you'll find in pretty much any photo editing app, unless the app is really basic. The HDR option, I wish I could show to you, but I don't have photos to use for it. But HDR stands for high dynamic range, and HDR photos are actually awesome. That word is overused, but I think it's appropriate for what an HDR photo looks like. The app has HDR tips, or links to HDR tips, so I can click About HDR Photography and I can read about it. I'll quickly just Google HDR photos just to show you. You get really neat effects, but HDR just gives you a really dramatic looking picture, and I trust that this is a really good feature in this app. It seems like it's a substantial part of the app, at least. So the effect option is all about filters. So I'm gonna just choose this picture here, and so if I click on effects, I can scroll through a bunch of filters. And that's the only thing about the app that I don't like, by the way, is the scrolling. It's odd, it's delayed. Some parts when you scroll through are faster than other parts. I can't really express how it is, but it's just, the scrolling is annoying. So that's the only thing that really bothers me about this app, but it's enough to actually keep me from using the app. Anyway, most of the filters are actually really nice. Obviously it depends on your image and what look you're going for, but it can really add character or change what your image looks like. Once you actually have selected a filter, you can always go back to Fine Edit and make subtle changes and enhancements to the filter so that you adjust it to your liking. Okay, so the next feature I want to show you is Big Aperture. You get different modes to choose from, so I'm just going to choose Nature. And once you've selected a mode, you can change the aperture size, and changing the aperture size changes the depth of field, or I guess the amount of blur in your image. So a smaller aperture, it's not going to be as blurry. There's still, as you can see, there's still some depth of field, but it's not as much as if you were to choose a really wide aperture size. You can see it's really blurry. And you can adjust the rotation of this of these lines here. You can change the mode, so like macro. This is good for like plant photography or insect photography. There's also portrait mode, which is self-explanatory. And Color Splash is just like that iPhone app, Color Splash. You can color in specific areas of the picture while keeping the rest of it black and white. So it really makes a certain part of your picture pop or stand out, or however you want to describe that effect. And you can change your brush size, the softness, and the opacity, so you can get really accurate with your coloring. And you can either color it so that it colors it as you move the brush, like I'm doing right now, or you can make it so it's red wherever you've colored it. And this is actually easier to see if you do it this way. So that is Color Splash, and then the final feature I want to show you quickly is Collage. You can see there's different layouts to choose from, different templates. So this is just what they call a standard collage, and then they have fancy collage. I think these are kind of gimmicky, but some people will probably find these useful. You can change your borders. So this really is just a fun app to play around with. I wouldn't use this for any serious photo editing. It's not, even though it's got a ton of features, it's not the most it's not robust enough for me. I already use Aperture, so I'm not going to use this, but like I said at the beginning of the video, this really is a good app for somebody who wants to really play around with their pictures. So to review, this app, it's a solid app. There's nothing horrible about it besides the scrolling. Sorry, I just really don't like the scrolling. I love how there's lots of features. It's really easy to use. It's intuitive. I think it's great for most people if you're just looking for a photo editing app that doesn't just do one thing. Hopefully I got my point across okay. It's a good app. It's not a great app. That's the verdict, I guess. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. The sun is setting and it's getting in my eyes. Before I end the video, I just wanted to mention that you should follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/italkapple. And I'm also on Pinterest. And my dogs are barking now, so I have to go. Bye!